Listen to me very carefully, my dear, because what I'm about to share could save you 33 years of searching, striving, and trying to figure it all out. These are lessons that life teaches only through silence. They cannot be rushed, they cannot be forced. They can only be heard. The greatest truths don't arrive through books or advice or even experience. They arrive in those rare, sacred moments when the noise finally fades and you become still enough to feel the whisper of life itself. In silence, I hear the voice of the universe. That has always been one of my favorite affirmations, because it reminds us that wisdom isn't something we chase, it's something we remember. You see, the universe doesn't speak in sentences or paragraphs. It speaks in vibrations. It speaks through the rhythm of your heartbeat, through the quiet sigh before you fall asleep, through the breeze that brushes your skin when you're finally at peace. Every soundless moment carries a message if you're willing to listen. Most of us are terrified of silence. We fill every pause with a distraction, music, conversation, scrolling, anything to avoid being alone with ourselves. But silence isn't empty, it's full. It's full of answers, full of healing, full of guidance. Silence is not the absence of life. It is the language of life. When you slow down, when you stop trying to fix or force things, you begin to notice a quiet harmony that has always been there. The breath of the trees, the rhythm of your pulse, the soft intelligence of existence itself. That is where wisdom lives. Not in the mind that overanalyzes, but in the stillness that understands. I used to believe that if I could just think harder, plan better, or do more, I'd finally feel peaceful. But life, in its infinite kindness, showed me the opposite. The moment I stopped doing, stopped chasing, stopped trying to control every outcome, that's when peace arrived. And with peace came clarity, because stillness is the gateway to wisdom. When you allow yourself to be silent, your energy settles. The chaos that clouds your mind begins to clear, and suddenly, what once felt confusing becomes simple. You realize that the universe has been guiding you all along, through intuition, through synchronicities, through feelings. The only reason you couldn't hear it before was because you were too loud inside. Let me share something that changed my life. The universe speaks in frequencies, not in words. Think about that. When you're calm, centered, grateful, your frequency is high. In that vibration, you become a clear receiver for divine messages. But when you're anxious, fearful, or angry, your signal gets distorted. The guidance is still being sent, but you can't hear it through the static. Silence is how you tune your radio back to the right station. So the next time you feel lost, don't rush to ask everyone for advice. Don't overthink. Don't panic. Instead, sit quietly. Place your hand over your heart, take a slow breath, and whisper, "Universe, show me what I need to know." Then wait. Don't demand an answer. Allow it. The answer may not come in words. It may come as a feeling of peace, as a sudden knowing, or as a situation that unfolds perfectly without your interference. Remember, you don't find clarity by talking louder. You find it by listening deeper. The universe is always speaking, but only those who are still can hear. You see, silence is a teacher. It teaches patience. It teaches surrender. It teaches trust. It teaches you to stop chasing and start allowing. In silence, you learn that you are not separate from life. You are life. You learn that nothing is missing, nothing is broken, and nothing needs to be fixed. Everything is unfolding with divine timing, even the parts you don't yet understand. Try this. Sit for just 5 minutes each day, without trying to meditate, without trying to achieve anything. Simply be. Feel your breath. Listen to the quiet hum beneath all sound. At first, your mind will rebel. It will say, "This is boring. I should be doing something." But if you stay, if you breathe, if you let those thoughts pass like clouds, you'll begin to sense something extraordinary, a presence, an intelligence, a love so vast it defies words. That presence is the universe. That presence is you. And as you practice this, you'll start noticing miracles in ordinary moments. A problem that seemed impossible suddenly resolves itself. The right person calls at the perfect time. You receive an idea so clear, it feels like a download from heaven. That's the universe responding to your stillness. Because when you are still, you are aligned. When you are aligned, you are guided. Do you know why most people feel disconnected, uncertain, or anxious? It's because they've forgotten how to listen. They think wisdom lives in information, when in truth, wisdom lives in quiet. The most successful, joyful, and peaceful people I've ever met are not those who talk the most. They are those who know how to pause, to breathe, to wait, to trust. So let me remind you, you are not separate from the flow of life. You don't need to force your way through it. You need only to listen. The wind that moves the trees also moves your heart. The intelligence that grows the flowers also guides your dreams. The silence that fills the sky is the same silence that fills your soul. And in that silence, you will find every answer you've been searching for. Take this moment with me right now. Close your eyes if you can. Feel your shoulders relax. Inhale slowly through your nose. And as you exhale, imagine releasing all the noise, all the tension, all the mental clutter. Let it dissolve into the air. Beneath all of that, there is only stillness, soft, loving, endless stillness. That is where your truth lives. That is where your next step will reveal itself. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to control it. You just need to trust it. So, the next time life feels overwhelming, the next time your heart is confused or your mind is loud, come back to silence. Sit by a window. Feel the air move. Watch the light shift and remind yourself, in stillness, I am guided. Silence is not a punishment. It's an invitation to remember that you are part of something infinite and intelligent, something that never stops loving you, never stops guiding you, and never stops speaking to you. You don't have to try to hear the universe. You just have to get quiet enough to stop interrupting it. And when you do, you will discover that the answers were never hiding. They were always humming softly beneath the noise, waiting for you to pause long enough to finally say, I hear you. That's the moment life changes. That's the moment you stop seeking and start receiving. So today, I invite you to let silence speak to you. Let it teach you, comfort you, heal you, because in the stillness, you don't just find peace, you find the universe. And more than that, you find yourself. Have you ever wondered why the wisest people you meet are often the quietest ones? Why the most peaceful souls seem to radiate a calm strength, as though they know something the rest of us are too noisy to hear? My dear, it's because they've learned to speak the language of the universe, the language of silence. They've discovered that the greatest truths, the most powerful laws, and the deepest miracles do not shout, they whisper. And only those who are willing to be still can hear them. The quieter you become, the more you understand. This is not just a lovely saying, it's a spiritual law. In silence, you don't lose connection to the world, you connect to it more profoundly. You begin to sense the invisible threads that weave everything together. Every person, every leaf, every breath, every heartbeat. Silence is the bridge between your limited human understanding and the infinite intelligence of life. Let me share with you what I call the 7 universal secrets revealed through silence. These are the laws that quietly shape your reality, whether you are aware of them or not. But when you become still, truly still, you begin to see them in action, like discovering the hidden gears that move the universe. The first is the law of vibration. Everything in existence, from your thoughts to the stars, vibrates. Even when you are still, your energy hums. In silence, you begin to feel that vibration instead of merely thinking about it. When you sit quietly, perhaps with your eyes closed, you may notice a gentle pulsing in your body, a subtle current flowing through you. That is life itself. You realize that you are not separate from the world around you. You are part of its rhythm. You vibrate with it, move with it, breathe with it. And the more peaceful your vibration, the more peaceful your world becomes. So many people try to change their lives by changing their outer circumstances. But the secret is this: your life rearranges itself according to the frequency you hold. When you raise your vibration through peace, love, and gratitude, the outer world must respond. Silence helps you sense when your vibration is out of tune and helps you gently realign with harmony. Then comes the law of reflection. The world, my dear, is your mirror. It doesn't show you what you want. It shows you what you are. If you are restless inside, the world seems chaotic. If you are angry inside, you meet conflict. But when you become quiet, when the water of your mind is still, the mirror becomes clear and you see truth without distortion. In silence, you stop reacting to life and start reflecting on it. You realize that every encounter, every frustration, every joy is simply life showing you yourself. And this realization, though humbling, is liberating. Because if the world is a mirror, then peace is something you can create at any moment, not by changing the reflection, but by changing what you project. Now, the law of attraction. You have heard it said, you attract what you think about. But that's not the full truth. You attract what you vibrate. Your thoughts matter. but your energy matters more. You can say, I am loved, but if you whisper it through fear, the vibration you send is still fear. Silence helps you shift that. In silence, you can feel when your thoughts are out of alignment with your heart. You begin to attract not from desperation, but from wholeness. And from that still place, love, abundance, health, all of it flows toward you effortlessly. In silence, your heart becomes a tuning fork for miracles. Next is the law of allowing. This one, I believe, is the hardest for most of us. We think we must control everything, the timing, the outcome, the process. We chase, we push, we strive, all the while tightening the very energy we want to flow. But silence teaches us that surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. Allowing means trusting that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't. It means replacing I must make it happen with I allow it to happen. And when you do, the universe breathes again through you. Silence is the ultimate act of allowing. It's saying, I trust enough to stop forcing. Then we come to the law of divine timing. Everything has its season. The flower doesn't bloom all year, and yet no one doubts its beauty when it does. The same is true for your dreams. There is a sacred rhythm to your life, a right time for growth, a right time for rest. When you live in noise, you try to control that timing. You panic when things don't move fast enough. But when you live in silence, you begin to sense the perfect unfolding. You stop rushing because you trust the rhythm of your own becoming. In silence, you hear the ticking of divine order, not the clock of fear, but the symphony of grace. The sixth secret is the law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. Your outer world is always a reflection of your inner state. If your thoughts are cluttered, your environment often mirrors that. If your heart is peaceful, even chaos cannot disturb you. Silence reveals this correspondence clearly. When your mind quiets, you notice how swiftly the outer world begins to respond. Problems soften, synchronicities appear, people around you calm. The inner and outer are not separate worlds. They are one continuous flow. Silence allows you to see that connection in real time. And finally, the law of gratitude. Gratitude is the vibration that turns silence into sanctuary. When you are still and grateful, you enter into a conversation with the universe that needs no words. You begin to feel gratitude not only for what you have, but for what is. The breath in your lungs, the warmth of sunlight, the lessons of pain, the grace of uncertainty. In that state, you realize that everything is a gift, even the silence itself. Gratitude transforms stillness into prayer. Now, take a moment with me. Breathe slowly. Let's feel these laws together. As you inhale, feel vibration, the pulse of life moving through you. As you exhale, feel reflection, the clarity returning to your heart. Inhale attraction, your energy expanding. Exhale allowing, releasing all control. Inhale divine timing, trusting the perfect moment. Exhale correspondence, harmony within and without. Inhale gratitude, thanking life for this breath, this moment, this beautiful now. These are not theories. These are living truths, and they are operating through you every single day. Whether you acknowledge them or not, they respond to your energy, to your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. But when you become aware of them, when you practice silence, you begin to live with them, not against them. You stop swimming upstream, and life begins to carry you effortlessly forward. You see, silence is not a pause in your evolution. It is the heartbeat of it. In silence, the invisible becomes visible. You start to notice subtle shifts, the way your intuition whispers before logic interferes, the way your body signals what your soul already knows, the way opportunities bloom precisely when you stop grasping. That is not coincidence. That is cosmic cooperation. Every master, every mystic, every enlightened being has discovered this same truth. All universal laws are birthed and sustained in silence. The sun rises without noise. The tide moves without announcement. Seeds break open underground in utter stillness. Creation itself happens quietly. The same is true for you. Your transformation, your healing, your awakening, all of it is happening quietly beneath the surface, in moments when you think nothing is moving. So if you ever find yourself restless, doubting, or impatient, remember this: the universe is not ignoring you. It is composing your next chapter in silence. Trust that silence. Honor it, because every miracle you have ever prayed for is born from it. And as you begin to live in alignment with these laws, vibration, reflection, attraction, allowing, divine timing, correspondence, and gratitude, you will notice something miraculous. You won't have to ask for as much. You won't have to chase or plead or prove. You will simply live in harmony with life itself, and life will respond by pouring its wisdom, abundance, and love through you. That is the power of silence. It is not passive. It is not emptiness. It is divine intelligence at work. It is the womb of creation where energy takes form, where thought becomes reality, where love becomes your natural state. So, my dear one, the next time you are tempted to fill the air with questions, pause. The next time you feel lost, pause. The next time you are desperate for direction, pause. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and whisper within, I am listening. Because in that moment, the universe will whisper back, I have been speaking all along. Every law, every truth, every blessing begins in silence. You don't need to find them. Just be still long enough to remember them. You know, my dear, I've learned over the years that sometimes the most profound healing doesn't happen when you add something new. It happens when you stop. When you stop explaining yourself, stop chasing closure, stop forcing clarity. Because when you stop, life begins to reveal what was always true. What disappears in silence was never meant for you. That truth has brought me more peace than anything I've ever read or heard. When you stop talking, stop begging, stop trying to hold together what is already falling apart, that's when reality shows itself. It's not punishment, it's revelation. The universe doesn't take things away to hurt you. It takes them away to show you what's real, what's essential, what's truly yours. Silence becomes the great revealer peeling away illusion, removing noise, and showing you the foundation beneath it all. Sometimes people drift away when you stop reaching out. Let them. Sometimes opportunities fade when you stop pushing. Let them. Sometimes dreams dissolve when you stop grasping. Let them. Because if something cannot survive the quiet, it was never meant to last. What is true will remain, what is false will fall away. That is the sacred law of silence. I've seen so many hearts break, not because love ended, but because they refused to let the silence reveal the truth. They kept calling, fixing, pleading, and missed the quiet whisper that said, "This is not for you anymore." Silence is not abandonment. It's truth-telling in its purest form. It shows you who stands beside you when there's nothing left to gain, who listens when there are no words left to say, who stays when all the noise is gone. When something or someone fades away, bless it. Bless its purpose, bless its lesson, bless its departure, because everything that leaves your life in silence is making space for something that speaks the language of your soul. I trust what leaves, and I bless what stays. Life always rearranges for my highest good. Let this be your mantra whenever you feel lost. The stillness between what was and what will be is not emptiness, it's reorganization. Life is rearranging itself to fit the higher version of you. Absence is not loneliness. Absence is revelation. When the noise fades, you realize how many voices never truly understood you, how many things you carried out of habit, how many desires weren't your own. And in that realization, you find freedom, a freedom that comes only when you no longer need to cling. I remember once sitting in my garden long after sunset, the world completely still. I was grieving something I thought I couldn't live without. But as I sat in silence, a small thought came to me. If it's gone, and I am still here, maybe I never needed it to begin with. And that night, I realized what disappears in silence isn't loss, it's liberation. Silence teaches you to trust the rhythm of endings. It teaches you that not every door is meant to open again. Not every voice deserves your reply, and not every emotion needs to be carried forward. The things that vanish quietly often bless you the most deeply because they free you from illusions you didn't know you were trapped in. And then comes another truth. Silence doesn't just reveal what's gone, it heals what remains. You see, the human mind is rarely quiet. It hums and spins, analyzes and replays, always trying to solve the unsolvable. That constant inner chatter, that argument with yourself, that endless thinking, that's where most of our pain lives. We think it's life hurting us, but it's our interpretation of life that causes the suffering. You can't hear the universe while arguing with yourself. I often tell people, you give your body permission to rest each night. Why not your mind? We forget that our mind also needs quiet, that thinking is not healing, and that silence is medicine. Every time you pause, breathe, and choose not to engage the noise, you're teaching your nervous system a new pattern, safety. You're teaching your heart that it doesn't have to rush to fix everything. You're teaching your spirit that peace is its natural state. Try this for just 1 minute a day. Sit somewhere comfortable, Close your eyes and let your mind do whatever it wants until it tires itself out. Don't fight the thoughts. Don't label them good or bad. Just let them float by like clouds. Eventually, you'll begin to notice the space between them, that open, quiet space where your true self lives. That's not emptiness, that's awareness. That's you, the part that never ages, never fears, never breaks. So many of us think silence is avoidance, but silence is actually intimacy with your own soul. It's the moment you come home to yourself. It's where forgiveness starts, where healing begins, where wisdom is born. In silence, you don't escape reality, you finally meet it. You begin to see the difference between the mind that panics and the heart that already knows the way. The mind thrives on noise. It wants to fix, justify, and prove. But the heart only wants peace. And silence is the only environment where the heart can speak. Every great shift in my life came after a period of silence, when I stopped asking others what I should do, when I stopped replaying the past, when I stopped trying to think my way into happiness. That's when intuition rose up like a calm tide and said, "Here, this way." You may not realize it yet, but silence is the most powerful prayer there is. When you are quiet, the universe listens to your energy, not your words. It reads your stillness as trust. It hears your pause as faith. It feels your peace as alignment. You don't need to shout your desires into existence. You only need to get still enough to match their vibration. So the next time your mind becomes loud, remember this. You don't have to fight your thoughts to silence them. You only have to stop feeding them. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it deserves your attention. Let it pass. Let it dissolve. Let it fall into the silence that knows better. A quiet mind is not an empty mind. It's a healed one. And every time you return to that quiet, you reclaim your power. You reclaim your joy. You reclaim yourself. Because silence doesn't take anything away from you. It simply removes what was never yours to begin with. My dear, the next time something disappears, don't chase it. The next time your mind screams for answers, don't rush to find them. Sit in your own sacred quiet. Feel the stillness wrap around you like a soft blanket, and say gently, "I trust what leaves. I bless what stays. I am safe in the silence." Because that is where healing begins, not in control, not in knowing, but in resting. Resting in the truth that what's real will remain and what's not will fade. And when you finally accept that, you don't lose peace anymore. You become peace. Before we end, I want to share a very simple but powerful practice with you, something so gentle yet so life-changing if you stay with it. For the next few moments, just sit where you are. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth of your own touch. This is not just your heartbeat. This is the rhythm of the universe pulsing through you. Breathe in slowly through your nose, and as you exhale, let your shoulders drop. Feel yourself arriving fully in this moment. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need to fix or change anything. Just be here. Each morning, before the world wakes up, give yourself 5 quiet minutes. Sit in stillness, Place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Whisper softly, "As I breathe, I align with the rhythm of life." That single moment of awareness connects you with all that is sacred and real. In the middle of your day, when tension rises or someone's words sting, pause for just 3 seconds. Don't react right away. Breathe and feel your heart before you speak. Whisper, in silence, "I respond with love, not with fear." That pause is holy. It transforms confusion into clarity, chaos into calm. And at night, before you fall asleep, turn off every screen and listen to the wind, the crickets, the hum of life. Whisper, "Thank you, life, for guiding me through this sacred day." Let gratitude be your lullaby. Let peace be your pillow. Silence, my dear, is not absence. It's presence at its purest. It's the classroom of the soul. In silence, you learn to listen without needing words, to love without clinging, to understand without explaining. You begin to see that the universe has never been quiet. It has always been speaking. You were just too busy to hear. When the mind grows still, the soul begins to speak. In that stillness, everything returns to its rightful place. Life adjusts itself. Answers you've been chasing for years gently rise to the surface, not with noise, but with knowing. You realize that peace is not something you find. It's something that was waiting for you all along. So take this with you. In my silence, I find peace. In my peace, I find wisdom. And in my wisdom, I am one with the universe. Say it often, feel it deeply, believe it completely, and if you truly want to understand the power of this, listen to this message every day for the next 30 days. Because only through repetition does your heart remember what your soul already knows, that silence is not emptiness, it is everything. 30 days of stillness will not just calm your mind, it will realign your entire being with the frequency of the universe itself. Try it and you will see. The more you listen to the quiet, the louder your spirit speaks.